Hi guys, I'm Chris and welcome back to another video. I wanted to share with you how I've stayed injury free for a year now. So how have I done that? Well, if we just roll back to when I was constantly getting injured, I was like most of us, going out 3-4 times a week, and every time I went on a run, trying to smash my PB, and then coming back, feeling completely knackered, and then doing the same thing over and over again, and then demotivating myself because I'm not beating my PB, and it's just kind of vicious circle that you pick up niggles, then you don't listen to their niggles, and they turn into injuries, and then you can't run. And we all know what us runners are like when we can't run. Well, I know what I'm like. Grumpy. Well, probably a bit more than grumpy, to be honest. So what did I learn? So what I've learned over the past 3 years. So yes, I used to run when I was a teenager and I was a competitive runner, but I think when you're younger you're kind of more bulletproof. Well, I was, but as I've got older, I tend to break quite easy. So the first 2 years of running, I was going out, like I said, trying to smash my PBs every time, improved to a degree, and then kind of plateaued, but then just was constantly getting injured. So I go 3 months of not injured, 6 weeks off, 3 months of running, 6 weeks off, and it would just be a pattern. And people would say to me, Chris, you need to slow down, and going in one ear out the other. Yeah, I'll do that, do it for a week, and then they're always back again, because we all think we know best. But I think it's kind of distilled into us that when we're younger, you watch the Rocky films, he's out there every day, working hard, sweat dripping, drops on the floor, really pushed himself to the max. Or the sayings like, work hard, play hard, and they're kind of distilled into you that you think that's what you need to do to improve. Yes, there's a time and a place for them workouts, but as soon as I listened to what people said and to run slower, I've been a year injury free. So I'm going to touch wood. Hopefully it counts when I've got gloves on, but I'll touch wood later if it doesn't. A little bit superstitious. And so what did I do to kind of change it? I didn't just run slow all the time, because it sounds strange, but to run slow, I find it as difficult as running fast. Because when you run slow, you're changing your form, everything's changing. You've got to put your ego to bed, and it took me probably a few months to learn how to run slow and for it to be comfortable, because I think when you're running with the brakes on, it doesn't become comfortable and it becomes a bit of a chore, and then you've got your ego thinking, oh, everyone's looking at me, I'm running slow. But if I thought that, I wouldn't be walking around talking to a camera and looking like a nutter, but that's another story. So once I kind of learned to run slow, put my ego to bed, then I started with 80-20 training. So 80-20 training is 80% easy, 20% harder, because I wanted to look forward to that 20% of running harder. So because I did the 80-20, I was able to increase my mileage, because my 80% were easy. And what is easy? So there's a few ways of working out your easy. You could do that on a pace calculator. You put in your 5k time and it gives you what your easy pace is. Or you could do math training. So that's what I did to work out my easy pace. So what is math training? So that's heart rate training. I just used the basic formula of the 180 minus my age, which is 135, which means that on the math tone training, my easy runs would be done at that pace with a heart rate of 135, but your heart rate could go up to 140, or you could run as slow as 130. So I did that for a month, and I saw some massive improvements. I was running 8 miles, and I was running at I think 740 pace, and I did that for probably about a month, and I was able to run the same run at 720 pace. So what they did for me, obviously, you know, if you're going to Maffetone, and there are other benefits, but I was able to almost meditate, control my breathing, control my heart rate, and I still use that now. So that kind of worked out my kind of easy pace. So with the 80-20, you know, say for instance we're in winter now, so you know, slippery paths, you know, mud everywhere, ice, so it's not really ideal for fast running. So this time of year I changed the 80-20 to 90-10, or even 100% easy, because you know, winter is probably the most important time of the year when you're building your base. So what are the advantages of running easy? Well, base building. So building that base to build that triangle, because speed work is the top of the triangle and your base is the bottom of the triangle. So the bigger the base, when you put the speed work on, obviously not going to topple over and get injured. When you're doing your easy pace runs, you're going to be able to increase your mileage safely, because you're running easy, you're keeping the intensity low, and so you can increase your mileage, you'll be able to run more frequently, you're not going to be fatigued, and then obviously I mentioned that word intensity. So, you know, over your week you have a number. So, you know, I come up with a formula, 1 to 10 formula, that works out your intensity. So, you know, over the week you're allowed a certain number. So if you go over that number, then you're over your intensity, which means that, you know, it's a knock-on effect to the next week. Fatigue sets in, niggles, injuries. So all these factors, you know, kind of come together and will actually help you to stay injury-free. And I say, I've been a year now injury-free, touch wood again, and I just wanted to share that with you. Obviously there are, you know, other factors, which would be your running gear, so i.e. your trainers. You know, you've got to get a pair of trainers that work for you. So it would be worth going to, you know, a sports shop that specialise, you know, that can test your gait to get a shoe that works for you, and then you need to find a brand that works for you. Because I only wear Nikes because they work for my Achilles, and I think once you've found a brand, then just stick with that brand. You don't need to have all these different shoes. Yes, you can, but I just think it's easier that your feet will adapt to that particular brand. And then I'm quite fortunate that I have a few pairs of shoes from gentle to race, because, you know, all these shoes serve a purpose. So when I go on my gentle runs, I'll wear my React Infinity Run. If I'm on a medium to faster pace run, or maybe a bit of easy, I'll wear my Pegasus 37s. And then if I want to do a quicker run, I'd wear my Tempos, my Nike Tempo Next, is that right? Nike Tempo Next Percent. And then if I wanted to race, I would wear those, or my Zoomfly SPs, which obviously are lighter. So, you know, you don't have to have all these shoes, but I would probably suggest you need a minimum of 2. So you need a shoe that you can do your gentle runs in, and you need a shoe that you can do your quicker runs in, because, you know, these shoes are actually designed for a purpose. So if you've got a gentle to easy shoe, it's not going to be great at doing the quicker kind of tempo runs. So I think all these kind of factors, you know, kind of come into it, that you need to have all these kind of different shoes to help keep you injury free. So what I've done is I've actually put together a playlist, but this playlist is just designed of what I've discussed. So, you know, it will go down into the 80-20, we'll go into, you know, your intensity, and just delve into them into more detail. So please watch those videos. Hopefully you find them, you know, helpful, but I just want you to be injury free like I have, and, you know, to progress the way I have. Most important thing to me is that I've been able to run. Now I've increased my mileage to 50-mile weeks. I'm able to do that safely. You know, I'm keeping the intensity low, I'm listening to my body. You know, yes, there's other factors that will come into it, like sleep and eating and stuff like that, but just run easier. Just try it, let me know how you get on, and then we can share this journey together. So I'm going to stop rabbiting, because I've been chatting, and I've got to finish off the rest of my 10-mile run, so it's not going to run itself. So onwards and upwards, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.